Hey, so we're going to look at VOO. So this is the top 500 stocks. And again, before I get started, if you have any opinions on this in terms of when you would be interested in buying or selling, or really just anything in general with the market, specifically VOO in this case, please share it in the comments. But with that said, let's actually take a look at this. So it looks like the last time we checked on this was roughly about a month ago. And so that would have been about right in here, right around. It looks like the price I jotted down was 366. So that was probably in this red bar right here. If you can see my mouse, I'll work on making the mouse a little more uh, like poppable so that it's easier to see on the screen. But um, so it looks like since then we see a massive down pull, which I have to imagine that was due to the bank crisis with the regional banks closing and potentially more on the way. But ever since then, it's climbed back up to 359. So if we just, I'll just update the chart here to 359, and I'm going to update the date to today. And then overall, I guess not that much has changed in my opinion. And by the way, I've zoomed in, so now we're just looking at the past 2 years roughly. So back in 2021, that was right around uh, towards the left end of the screen up to today. So I'm still pretty comfortable with the levels I've drawn in. It looks like we came very close. If I would have timed it perfectly, which, that's part of the trade-off with how I'm how frequently I'm looking at these. Right now, it's on a monthly basis. Hopefully, I can make that a quicker turnaround, like maybe every 2 or 3 weeks. Uh, I think that would be ideal if I could get it down to every 2 weeks. That'd be great. But uh, keeping in mind that maybe it's going to be once a month, we'll just have to bear with that. And so it did pop back up. I think if I could have caught it at around 350, maybe I would have pulled the trigger. Because again, buying into VOO, it's over $300 per share. I think overall this one is in a decent spot just because we know what the highs can be, and I do think we're going to see it trade sideways for a little while, probably between the green and red line, preferably between the blue and the green line. And again, the blue line for us, what we're saying is the fair value, and it's also more so based on the fact that it seems to be acting as a resistance line in the most recent, roughly not quite a year, but close to a year. It's acted as resistance, so that kind of seems like it's the limits these days, which of course that ultimately will get broken at some point. It's just we don't know when. So for now, I think because it kind of popped back up in the last week, um, again it's below fair value. So I realize that if we're gonna play this one as uh, an investor where we're not going to be monitoring it as frequently, which I would say this is pretty frequent. I mean, once a month, that is fairly frequent. I would say once you get into, I would say if you're able to check on any particular stock at least on a quarterly basis, I think that is enough to keep you in the know. But yeah, so us being in a monthly basis, that means we're checking it at least 3 times each quarter and potentially more. And so I realize a lot of investors will tell you if you're not going to be following them on a consistent basis, it's just easiest and safest to just continually buy a stock like this, which just tracks a wide range of the market because it's very safe. You don't have to think about it. You just kind of plug it in, and anytime it drops at all, if you're going to be in this one for the long term, multiple years, if not decades down the road, you have nothing to worry about. It's going to keep growing. So I think what I would like to do is preferably, and especially if it's at a decent spot, we just want to buy one or two shares of this anytime we have availability. So, just hypothetically, speaking to myself here, say I had $1,000, um, and because this one's at a decent spot, not the best, of course, because it's not super close to that green line, but it is below our fair value line. Uh, the way I would want to play this one, I think going forward, um, and just because it's my personal risk level, is if I had this hypothetical $1,000, I would like to add in a share of this type. VOO is one specifically. Just buy one. That way I can more or less just set it and forget it, and hopefully it just accumulates over time. But for right now, I guess just as with a trader's mentality, I guess I'd probably just wait on this one, see if it pulls back a little more. Again, 344 is like the point I'm looking at. So let me just update my tracking spreadsheet here. Just a second. So here we go. So this is what we're looking at, right up at the top. Currently it's at 359. I'm saying to wait to 354 or 344. It's definitely close to that point, but I think there's going to be other opportunities available. I if we look at the semiconductors, there looks like there's times to buy in some other ones, so I might put some more money into those instead. But again, overall, I think it would just be a safe bet, especially for me, thinking way down the line. Do I think this one's at a decent price, considering we might circle back and uh, or not circle back, but potentially sell this down the road, like 5, 10 years? I think it's at a decent spot today, and yeah, so that's kind of how I feel about this one. We'll probably wait maybe another week or two, see if we miss out on anything. It looks like after hours, it did go up a little bit. We'll kind of see how this week plays out. Hopefully, we can catch it at a lower point. Uh, Probably at least 350. If we can catch it there, I think that's a good time to buy. Uh, but yeah, so that kind of sums this up, and we'll go into the next index. I want to keep track of the indexes, even though that's kind of a lower priority to me. I think I need to raise it to a higher priority just because um, I don't really want to play around with all the individual stocks. I realize there's a greater risk to reward ratio there, but I don't know. I just kind of want to play it a little more safe, especially because I, I really want to treat this as like a long term investment as opposed to a get quick rich type of scheme where I'm trading on a monthly basis. I don't really want to do that. Of course, if I find something and I can make that work, I'd be a fool not to take advantage of it. But the general thinking is we want to go for the long approach here. So that's kind of where the mentality's coming in. So I think we'll kind of go through the indexes. We'll see how they play out, and we'll see what buys I want to make overall in the upcoming week or two. But let me know your thoughts and like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.